We live. Y'all already know what it is. It's Mr. William with the I Talk Great podcast. And we live. Yeah, getting ready tapping with my guy, Titus the Unlimited. We're going to be talking some health talk. Happy Friday. Darnell, what up, man? How are y'all doing? How was y'all week, man? You know, the week has been very fruitful. You know, how is everybody doing? Everybody come on in. Come on in. Man, I just got back from Vegas, man. And when I tell you that the Vegas weather over there is, I'm talking about a different level of heat. What's going on, Tasha? I'm talking about a different level of heat. It's like, it felt like you was in a volcano. Like, it was crazy. Like, I ain't never experienced nothing like that before. Like, I thought it was just, like when I came out of the airport, I thought it was just like the engines from the car. I didn't actually realize that this is just how it was out there. So I was out there for a leadership conference and it was crazy. Aside of that, right? Everything else was good. You know, the Bellagio Hotel, seeing all the amenities and the ambiance, it was great to be in. And one thing I want to tell people is that when you're striving for success and you're trying to get to the next level, you have to go to the big energy, right? You have to leave your environment lots of times. It's unfortunate, not everybody can make the climb, you know, and we might want to stay behind to kind of mingle in with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be around people that want to get it. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't have I can't say it no other way. Like, everybody's kind of going through it right now. Everybody has some type of setback that they're dealing with. But you gotta be around people that's choosing to say, fuck it. I'm just gonna keep pushing forward. I have a goal. I'm committed. Let's just talk about that for a second. Let's talk about commitment. Because a lot of people just be interested, right? Because when you're interested, that means you'll do it based on how you feel. But when you're committed, it don't matter how you feel. You don't give a fuck. Like, you're committed to the cause. You're committed to this goal. So you're saying, yo, hey, I'm doing this regardless of how I feel. That's commitment. And if before you get involved with anything, you have to tell yourself, like, yo, am I committed to this? Am I willing to put in the hours, right? Okay. And the work and the dedication to a. Then my guy's here, the guest is here. We get to tap into some real stuff today, y'all. So if you over 40, hey, my guy, what's going on, man?
What's happening, my man?
How you doing? Tay Diggs' brother. Anybody ever tell you look like Tay Diggs?
I get it occasionally, I guess, you know.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I know I ain't tripping. How you been, man? Yo, it's been a minute since we tapped back in. How you been?
I've been doing fantastic, man. I've been doing great. How about yourself?
No, that's awesome, man. I've been doing phenomenal, man. Right before you came on, I was talking about my trip from Las Vegas. I just got back from Las Vegas. You been to Las
Okay.
Vegas?
Yeah, I've been to Las Vegas. I've been to Vegas a couple of times, yeah.
Okay, and the heat. Like, I thought it was just like when I came out the airport, I thought it was just the engines from the car. So it didn't really set in until I came out the hotel and I was like, yo, this is this is really like you felt like you was in an oven, like you was in a volcano or something.
Vegas heat is next level, yes.
It was some next level stuff. So I was like, yo, but bro, I'm so glad you came on. I'm so glad we got to tap in because when I met you at that event, I mean, I've seen you from before. from
Okay.
way before I see your stuff. It's kind of hard, you know what I'm saying, not to see you. And I was like, hold on, this man is here in the flesh. Oh, nah. You was just dropping a lot of knowledge when it came to the health, and then I saw you put up a post about, when you hit, you see who really did what, the big reveal at 40.
Right.
But before we dive into that, kind of give us like an overview. Well, I guess for my audience, your audience will probably already know who you are, but just to give my audience a little overview of like how you got into the space, like who you are and what's your expertise.
I guess a brief overview of me. I would call myself a wellness expert. I shouldn't say expert, a wellness advocate. There you go. I hate the word
Okay,
expert.
I was about to say expert. We have
People call me an expert. I would call myself a wellness advocate.
okay,
And why wellness? The word wellness for me encompasses not only just the physical, but the mental and the spiritual. All right. And so when I speak about wellness, I talk about the full and all encompassing uh, uh, what it takes to be well.
yes,
And
yes,
I believe that is mind, body, and soul. And so I got on this journey initially after the death of my mother in 2001, when I wanted to delve more into health because I realized that was our most important asset. My mother died at 59, and I thought my mother was a very healthy woman, ate well, exercised, but after I started to delve into it, I realized a lot of misinformation that we had about what exactly was healthy, and I
mm,
started to learn more about foods and nutrition and even dis-ease and how we build it and how it happens in the human body. And then so over time it morphed to first it started with me just doing this for myself,
okay,
and then I started to help the people around me. And then after that it just, continued to go. And then,
yeah,
as luck would have it, I wind up here.
okay. No, I totally understand that. I do believe it has to start with yourself first, but then there's always some type of situation that could put you in that type of mindset to say, hey, let me start paying attention to my health. Because I'm not gonna lie, right when I was about 33, that's when I had to start paying attention to my health. My belly, I looked down, couldn't see my thing, and I'm like, can't play basketball with my son. I got inflammation in my arm. Like people can't believe it to this day, but I tell you all the time, like I was forced into paying attention to my health. So would
I
you
mean,
say that it came? I mean, aside from your mom, like when you started to take care of yourself, was it something that happened outside of that, or did you just start to enjoy that field?
well, like I said, the death of my mother did spurn my whole quest. But then
Mm,
also you start to look at yourself, and at that time I started to look at myself and said, I wasn't at my best. And I remember, I stood in front of the mirror and I looked at myself and I said, is this the best you can do? Is
mm,
this the best you have?
okay.
Is this all you got? You know? And I think it's important. I live my life. I look at my life in blocks. So I always look 5 years out. Okay, and I always ask myself, where do I want to be in five
Okay.
years? And you know, I think one of the most important questions we need to ask ourselves, or people in general need to ask themselves, and I always ask my clients this: do you plan on being alive in 5 years?
Mm,
And most people are going to say yes. And then the next question is, okay, based on what you're doing now, based on how you feel now, based on your trajectory now, your habits now, what does that look like? If you
mm,
look at your health and how your health has progressed over the last 5 years, it's based on your habits that you've had over the last 5 years. What does that look like now? And what does that look like if it continues exactly as is, unchanged? What does that look like in 5 years? How are you looking? How are you feeling? What does that give you the capacity to
yeah.
do? And then base that, and then look at that from the prism of what are your goals and what do you want out of life? Does your health and how you're taking care of yourself, does that match with what you claim you want in 5 years?
Ah, okay. That man dropping bars out the gate. Like I had to start writing that down. I'm like, hold on, oh snap. Because I'm not gonna lie, it feels like something shifted in the energetic field in the world, right? Um, like something happened. I can't put my hand on it, but I don't know if it's the new age of like, because we're now stepping into the age of AI. But what you're saying now is so true because I don't think a lot of people was looking at the habits in their past to see how it led up to where they're at right now.
Most
You see what I'm saying?
people still don't. Most people still don't do that. Most people love to live the delusion that they just magically arrived where they are right now. No, where you are right now is a culmination of decisions, habits, consistencies that you have developed over the last 5 to 10 years. That's what puts you exactly where you are right now. And it's going to be those decisions, those habits, and those consistencies that will put you where you're going to be in the next 5 or 10 years. And the decisions you make today, the habits you build today, the things you decide to be consistent or inconsistent about today will paint the picture of where you're going to be in 5 years.
No, that's real. That's real. So how okay, what did you do? What other things that are you're involved in that like what were you doing before you got into the health space? Like what's
Well,
your background?
a lot of people don't know this. For about 15 years, I was a stockbroker. I was an investment advisor. I wrote retirement plans. I just consulted people on retirement. And that's one of the things that gave me I would say,
Oh.
a window into that 5 year plan, because I used to sit there in front of people who had massive retirement savings.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember very clearly a story sitting in front of somebody, them and their wife, massive retirement savings. And I was sitting there looking at this guy and saying to myself, yeah, but you're not going to make it. You're not going to spend this money. I remember saying that to myself, and I
Oh,
didn't say it to him,
okay. I was
unfortunately.
about to say, hold on, you said that to them? Like,
No,
damn.
no, no. I didn't say it to him, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm saying, like, you're not
Yeah.
going to make it, though. And the sad thing about it is that 6 weeks later, I got a phone call that he had a heart attack and he died. With all the money
Damn.
in the world saved, he had accounted for everything except for the most important asset that he did not have, which was his health.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, that's real. That's kind of like with Steve Jobs,
Yeah.
like he created,
Yeah.
something phenomenal, but then not to be around to like fully see it,
Right.
to its fullest fruition. It's like, no, I think that's one of the most important things because even me being in the financial services space now, and I'm like, okay, we can't be teaching people about the importance of how to take care of their life and their loved ones when, they're no longer here, but we're putting things in our body that's going to make us reach that point a lot sooner.
Exactly. Wayne, look, 3 most important questions to ask people. Okay, for you to ask yourself, not to ask people, for you to ask yourself. Number one question, what do I want out of life and why? You have to figure out what is your goal here. What is your desire? What is your purpose? What do you want out of life? If you had to pick a thing you wanted to achieve as a cornerstone of why you're here, what do you want out of life? Why do you want it? Because the why is also very important. Okay? Because that why has to make so much sense to you that you have to get up every single day and run that thing down. What is your purpose? What do you want out of life and why? Okay? And once you've fixed that, your life becomes simple. I always tell people, because we walk through life, especially extremely talented people, gifted people, we walk through life and we see a lot of things that come across our purview. I always tell people about that. And there's a difference between options and opportunities. Because there's many things that you will come across that are options, but they won't lead to opportunities that will put you closer to that goal that you want, that first thing you identified. All right? And
And
if you know that first thing, it makes it very easy to identify, differentiate, demarcate what are options and what are just opportunities. Okay? And you want to pick your opportunities because those opportunities will set you in the direction. That's number one. The next thing is, who are you spending time with and why? Because if we know for a fact the 5 people that we spend the most time with dictate our lives, okay? Because they give you energy, they create the vibration of your life. If you're spending time with a bunch of people who are not on the same path as you,
Yeah.
sooner rather than later, you will not be on that path either. My mother used to
Yeah.
say it all the time. She said, you can have an Olympic athlete and 3 wee heads, and only 2 things are going to happen. Okay? Are you going to have 3 new people try it out for the Olympic team, or you're going to have a 4th wee head?
Yeah. No,
All right.
no, I
So
definitely believe
why are you
that.
spending time with these people? All right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people have to add value to your life. So once again, if your presence is of no value, your absence will be of no consequence. And I choose to spend time with people who add value because I
Mhm.
want the people around me to be consequential in my life.
Yeah.
I want them to be impactful. And it's not about people giving you money or anything like that, but even it's just conversation.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
that help you and keep you vibrating on a certain level. People who will encourage you. People who maybe not even on your quote unquote level. I don't like to talk about it like that, but people who are open to receiving help. And when you give them help, guess what? You watch them grow because when you see that, you know what happens? It makes you want to grow more.
Mm. Why don't you like to say level?
Because I think it's a snobbish way to look at things. We all arrive at things differently. And so somebody may not be on your quote unquote level in one way,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they can help you level up in other ways. Like I know some
Ah,
people
okay.
who may not be as advanced at me at one thing, but one thing they do have is they have good spirit. They have good energy. And
Yes.
that
Yes.
person's energy helps me. So they're of value, even though they may not be as knowledgeable, even they may not be as experienced in certain things, but they bring something to my life. And so
No.
I
Yeah. Okay.
have to give them something that I have because through each other we both rise.
Yes. Yes. No, I agree with
So
that
that's why I don't
100%.
like the word level.
Okay. Okay.
You
No,
know?
I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. But see
And
that
the
that
last question
yeah.
is, how are you taking care of your body and why? How are you taking care of your body and why? Based on the goal you say you have for yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years, you want to do this, you want to be this, you want to be this. Are you taking care of your body to match that person who has to be able to do this, that in the next 5? Because if
Mm,
not, then why? Why are you
yeah.
doing all the other stuff if you're not willing to take care of your body to match those things that you claim you want?
Damn. Okay. I think no, that's a great those 3 were great questions.
Yeah.
And I think why you have people that are not looking at it that way because they still may be stuck in survival mode, even though they might have made money. Because certain habits are kind of like hard to break. It's kind of like people that still eat McDonald's. I drive by McDonald's. I'm like, people
Isn't it
still eat
amazing?
here?
Yeah, the line is there every
The
day.
line, I'm talking about at 11 o'clock. I was coming from the office last night. Not the office, the strip club, but, my office in Hollywood. Because, I got to make that clear. Because people might be like, oh, you was at the office?
Oh,
No,
man.
my office in Hollywood, right? So that line was wrapped. I'm like, this is crazy. So
Yeah.
what do you think like causes that? Because I know you're like deep when it comes to like the body and the mind. What do you think causes people to still go towards things that has been publicly shown that it's not good for you?
Um, well, there's misinformation, right? But there's also this thing that has been built into our society uh, and into people where people always believe it's not going to happen to me.
Mm,
It's not going to happen to me.
yeah,
But that's what we call willful ignorance and conscientious stupidity. It's happened to everyone else.
yeah.
What makes it different? But a lot of people don't like to come to grips with their own mortality. We always want to believe that we're immune or or we have time. We can turn it around. A lot of different things. And one of the greatest tricks that the food industry has played on you is that they'll serve you poisonous, toxic food, except that it just doesn't kill you immediately. So you think you're good.
Mm,
Right. It's cheap. It's $1.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I've been eating it for 5 years and I haven't had a problem yet. But what we don't realize, it takes time to break the human body down. And we're slowly breaking it down. And this is actually, if you really want to look at it, truthfully, this is actually a plan, a process, because they slowly break your body down. And then what happens? You have to switch to another industry now, which is the pharmaceutical industry, to help you stay alive.
Mm,
And at that
mm.
point, you don't have a choice. You're not a willing customer, right?
Talk that talk.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah. No, 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 no. You are so right about that. I don't know. Are you into like movies and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, I watch movies here and there. Yeah.
Okay, okay. No, so I always tell people that there's always truth in a movie if you can get beyond the entertainment.
For sure.
So my son, when he was around like 10 years old, he was watching Ninja Turtles,
Hmm.
one of the latest ones. And they basically were showing you what they were going to do with COVID. So they infected the entire city, and the turtles' blood was the antidote to put into the prescriptions to heal everybody.
Hmm.
So I feel like, yo, look, you're 100% right. Like to me, the pharmaceutical company is the biggest drug dealers out here. They concoct all these things. You know, that's why I like to call it the plandemic, right? I've just heard that they're coming out with a whole new batch. Did you experience the COVID at all?
What do you mean experience it? Did I get COVID?
Yeah. Did you get
Yeah,
it?
I got COVID. Yeah.
Okay, like so did it so what would you say about that? Because I've always been the healthy one on my side, you know, and when I got it, oh what? You got COVID, not the healthy Dr. Sebi Jr.
Well, I mean, if you actually looked at the pattern of the people who got or didn't get, it has nothing to do with your level of health. What actually dictates your level? What actually was a better marker of your level of health was how well did you recover from
Ah, you
it. Right.
dropping bars.
Is how well you recovered from it. For some odd reason, I got COVID, and I also got pneumonia when I got COVID. And what a lot of people don't know is that when you get pneumonia, sometimes the recovery process to get your lungs back to full function can be in excess of 6 months.
Yeah.
I was fully recovered in 5 weeks.
Wow. Even with pneumonia?
Yeah,
I mean, even with pneumonia, 5 weeks?
fully recovered.
So
And
what
mind
did
you,
you do?
now when I say fully recovered, what I mean was I was back to doing the same type of workouts I used to do, and my workouts are by no means for the average person.
Wow. So what did you do like during that time? Like how did you bring yourself back to homeostasis?
Uh, just the things I'd always done. I woke up in the morning. I, ate my what I normally eat. I drank my water. I did my exercise, and I'll be honest with you, the first week or two, it was hard to the breathing part to get back to that level was a little difficult. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
my body
okay.
my body reconstituted, and I was fine.
So okay, so what is your normal regimen? Like what do you eat? Are you a vegan? Are you vegetarian, pesky,
No,
keto?
here's what I here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you listen to people. I've talked to vegans that they'll tell you once I turned vegan, it was the best thing ever, and it cured everything, and I was perfectly healthy. I've talked to carnivore people; they have the exact same thing. Pescatarian, exact same thing. Mediterranean diet, exact same thing. Are they all lying? Or or could they all be telling the truth? The fact is, they're all telling the truth. And if you look at all of these quote unquote lifestyles or diets, if you will, they have one thing in common: no processed food. They all eat real, whole foods.
Yeah.
And so, as long as you're striking a balance and getting all the nutrients your body requires, right, which is the biggest caveat in all this, are you getting all the nutrients? Because you will find that some of those diets, some of the people develop problems later on because some of their diets are a little void of certain nutrients, which then lead to problems, or not even void of those nutrients, but your body's not able to properly absorb all the nutrients you need. So it leads to other issues, down the road. But outside of that, minus a processed food, if you're getting all the nutrients you require, it doesn't matter your diet, you know?
Really?
So no. I practice balance and common sense. I don't believe in any nothing has to be extreme. But when we talk about balance, I hear people all the time trying to justify moderation when it comes down to consuming toxic foods. No, balance is not balancing toxic foods. Balance is balancing healthy foods. So we talk about whole foods, uh, grass-fed meat, pasture-raised chicken and eggs, wild-caught fish, organic fruit and vegetables. That's actual food. Whatever your combination of that is going to be, that's balance. Okay? But we can't claim balance when we're talking about getting donuts and this and no, that's not balance. Those are indulgences and those are vices. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
those are indulgences and those are vices. And the truth is that you can have a vice. You know, having one vice is not an issue.
Yeah.
Whether you drink a little bit of alcohol here and there, or you do a little bit of here and there, that's not the issue. One bad habit's not going to kill you. It's the third and fourth ones that are going to give you issues. Because
Mm.
every bad habit you have, right? You have to have multiple good habits to not only bring you even, but put you ahead. I remember I was
Uh-huh.
a kid and my mother called me into the kitchen. My mother's a funny woman. She called me in the kitchen and there was limes and lemons sitting on the table and there was this, medium-sized paper bag. And my mother said, see how many of those limes you can get in that bag. And so I go ahead, and I must have been like 8. And I put all the limes in the bag. And she said, now see how many lemons you can get in that bag. And I could only get like 2 or 3 lemons. And she said, that's your life. I said, what do you mean? She says, the more, look at the limes. The limes are your good habits. She said, the more good habits you can put into your bag of tricks early on, the less room you have for bad habits.
Mm.
And so when I counsel people on living a healthy life, I said try to win. Start your day with 5 or 6 wins. 5 or 6 things you do on a daily basis, every single day that you can repeat, that are sustainable, that
Yes.
will move you in the direction you want to move, health wise and or goal wise. All right. And once you start off with that rhythm of winning, right? Well, if you're doing all 6 of those 6 things make it harder for you to do bad things.
Mm.
Okay. And when you can actually master the habits and master the creation of those habits and the synchronizing of those habits, guess what? You don't have room for the
Yeah.
bad habits. For instance, waking up at a certain time every day. Well, if you're waking up at a certain time every day and you're going to adhere to that, that means you have to go to bed at a certain time.
Yes.
Good habit cancels out bad. If you're drinking a certain amount of water every single day, that means you don't have room to be drinking a lot of other stuff that's not, another habit, bad habit canceled. If you're waking up every morning and you're working out first thing and doing certain things physically for your health, that means you don't have the bad habit of postponing it later on, maybe when you get busy or tired or frustrated. So now that's the third good habit. If you schedule your meals so where you're eating at a certain time,
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
what? You're not missing meals. And if you're planning your meals, you can plan how to eat the right stuff, having the right stuff on so you're not eating junk. That's just
What's your
hot.
first meal of the day? What time is it? Like what? So what's your first meal of the day, and what time do you consume it?
It depends on what I'm doing that day, right? But my first meal time doesn't really depend. My first meal is around about 3 o'clock,
That's your first meal.
3
I
p.m.
mean, that's the time of your first meal at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, somewhere between 2 and 3. Yeah, depending on what how I'm eating that day. Sometimes I eat only one time a day, so that meal is going to be at 4. But sometimes I eat twice, so that meal is going to be out of 2, 3, and the second one is going to be 6 or 7. Some days.
So do you believe that we should stop eating when the sun goes down, like before the sun goes down?
That's most advantageous, yes. If you can, that's most advantageous. Why? Because it gives your body enough time and gives you enough time to walk around a little bit and allow your body to digest your food before you lay down.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
And it
what's your
also syncs up more with your circadian rhythm and all that kind of stuff like that.
all right? That's yeah, because I listen to Bobby Price, Dr. Bobby Price,
Hmm.
and that's one of the things that he was speaking about is making sure your body is within the circadian rhythm, right? And not eating before 12, because that's why they call it fast because we're supposed to be breaking the fast like around 12, 12 noon. What's your thoughts on that? Like the traditional breakfast that most people eat, you know, bacon, eggs, pancakes. Should we be eating things like that?
Well,
8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning and stuff.
well, it all depends on what your day is. It all depends on who you are and how your day lines up. So breaking your fast is just that, breaking of one's fast. Okay? It's not a time thing, right? It's a lifestyle thing. It depends on what you have going on in your life, right? That'll dictate the time you eat. Now, why is it recommended that you eat after 12? Because most people are going to rise with the sun, okay? Most people are going to rise with the sun. That's what's best suited for the human body, is to get up after sunrise or at sunrise,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Now, when you get up at sunrise, your body automatically gives you energy because your body secretes a certain amount of glucose from your that's been stored in your liver and your muscles overnight. All right. So eating first thing in the morning is absolutely unnecessary, especially eating something that's loaded with sugar, because your body just dumped glucose into your system for use first thing in the morning.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
giving your body 2 to 3 plus hours to allow itself to burn through that is going to be one of the most advantageous things you can do for regulating blood sugar, hormone levels, and everything of that nature. All right. Now, generally, our bodies are at the best point to receive food after noon, right? When the sun is at its highest.
Mm.
Okay. And that's when it's best for you to consume, between that point and when the sun sets. All right.
Okay. So all right. So when it comes to like food, right, being refrigerated and things like that, like what are some foods that shouldn't never be refrigerated?
I mean, now we're getting into particulars. I mean, but certain things I would not refrigerate. You want to try not to refrigerate, fresh fruit and things like onions and garlic and things of that, and then ginger, you know. But once again, if you're refrigerating it for a day or so, that's not bad. You don't want to refrigerate those things for a long period of time. We have to understand how not to be too much of idealists,
Mm.
right? There are going to be certain things in our modern society that are advantageous, okay? But you don't want to start being too much of an idealist. Then you lose the regular person who's just trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? You
Okay.
can't. Yeah, you it's not going to work like
Yeah.
that. So what I would say, if you get fresh produce, get fresh produce that you're going to use within a 48 to 72 hour period.
Hmm.
Okay, and there you go.
Okay.
Right.
So then what's your thoughts when it comes to like fruits with no seeds in it and stuff like that? Because
Well,
see that's more of the new thing now.
yeah, well, you have a lot of people who are somewhat uneducated when they talk about fruits with no seeds, all
Okay.
right? Because every fruit that doesn't have a seed is not genetically modified. Fruit fruit happens naturally in nature sometimes to not have seeds. The same way humans sometimes are born albino. It happens. It happens in nature, and that's a matter. As a matter of fact, that's exactly how "quote unquote" botanists discovered seedless fruit. They noticed, oh, wait, this was born with this fruit happened to come out with very little or no seeds, and all they did is they just turned around and kept breeding that particular fruit until they bred a whole line of that fruit that didn't have seeds. It does not mean the fruit is bad.
Mm,
Yeah,
really? So
no,
cause I mean, I followed Dr. Sebi, and he was rest in peace,
right.
the guy that kind of came out and started speaking about a lot of the fruits that we have out here, like pineapples, and you know, so it's like you get caught up in that. So you're saying that, hey, that would still be okay to eat, even if they're like hybrid and things like that.
First of all, most of your fruit that you eat today, okay, even the ones that some of the quote unquote people who follow that doctrine eat, have been modified. Have you seen what a original watermelon looked like? Have you
No.
seen what an original banana looked like? Original watermelon looked almost the same on the outside, but it was mostly white with little pockets of red. They actually had to breed it to where you get a red all inside with a white rind on the outside. That's a product of what? of botany. Okay, that's a
Mm.
product of botany, and so just because something has been modified genetically over time,
Hmm.
right, does not necessarily mean it's bad. Like, take for instance an original apple. An original apple wasn't as big; they were smaller. But just because they have modified it and actually bred bigger versions does not mean it's bad. It just means it's different now. The same way with bananas. Conventional bananas now don't have the big black seeds. Burro bananas, the old bananas, used to have huge black
Yeah,
seeds in
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
Does
That
that
I
mean the
saw.
banana now is bad? No, it doesn't mean it's bad. Okay.
I heard the banana is bad, like the one that's out now. Like that's what Dr. Bobby Price was saying. He was like, if it's
So
not
here's
small.
the thing. Here's the thing you have to understand too, Wayne, is that okay, and I'll have all the respect for people and what they do, but we have to be mindful of promoting our preferences as doctrine. Okay.
Promoting
Okay.
our preference. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so take for instance, let's look at somebody like even a Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi came about his knowledge of things because Dr. Sebi himself was very sick, and he, in order to heal his health, he had to go to a lot of extremes of things that he would eat, wouldn't eat, and stuff like that. Well, so that's why it's very important to listen to who you're talking to and say, okay, why are they saying this? So now you prescribe a mode of eating based on what you went through to heal yourself for everyone, and everyone didn't have those extreme problems. Okay.
Mm, okay.
Everyone didn't have those extreme problems. And so, is it necessary for you to eliminate garlic, eliminate pineapples, all those things? Absolutely not. I grew up on the continent of Africa. We've eaten pineapples forever. All over the world, they've eaten pineapples forever.
Hold on, you grew up in Africa?
Yeah. Born
You were
and
born
raised.
there, or
Born and raised, yes. So I laugh when people say eat like your ancestors when they talk
what?
about.
You was born in the motherland? What part of Africa you?
Well, my lineage uh is very, very interesting. I'm Liberian, and anybody knows anything about Liberia, which a lot of African Americans don't, which is sad. Liberia was the first independent nation on the continent of Africa.
Wow, really? Wow, I thought it was Ethiopia.
No, it was Liberia. And do you know who actually set Liberia up as an independent nation?
No,
The
I'm at a
United
loss.
States of America.
Okay, so all right, so you
And
just
it
hit me
was
with
set
it.
up, let me finish now. It was set up after the Emancipation Proclamation, where they sent freed slaves to live in Liberia. The first four presidents of Liberia were American born freed slaves.
What? Really?
Now you
Oh,
have to ask yourself, why haven't you been told
now,
that?
hold on. Now I'm getting a history lesson here.
Yes, you weren't told that. But yes, Liberia, land of liberty, was set up by the United States as a colony for freed slaves. The first four presidents of Liberia were American born, freed black men who were repatriated to Liberia and given land to set up their own land after the Emancipation Proclamation. Liberia was set up, that entire project was sponsored by, and you can look this up, the American ACS, American Colonization Society,
What?
1846. Yes.
We got it. Yeah, I definitely got to look that up because okay, so you said because I've heard that too. We have to eat like our
Yeah.
ancestors. So even though
There are,
what
there
is,
are no vegans in Africa.
but okay, so I like to tell people what timeline are we referring to here because even though you said you
It
did
doesn't
say
matter. There are no vegans in Africa.
maybe not right now
There
because
are
are we
no
eating like before the ones that came?
Wayne, Wayne, um, studying the history of Africa, which is something that I've done
Yeah.
from way back, from the times of the early empire, like the empires, the Mansa Musa times, and all that. There are no vegans in Africa. It was non-existent.
So veganism is not so because I heard we were supposed to be like fruitarians, like we're only supposed to eat fruit we didn't, because if we were supposed to eat meat, then we would have had like claws. You know, we wouldn't have to cook it because once you
Wayne,
cook,
Wayne, I'm sorry, but that's the kind of and you have you have some really really nice vegan, good vegan people out there, and everybody has their preference. All
hmm
right, but when people you hear people talking like that, right? Those are people who have agendas, and largely those are people who are uneducated and just stupid. All right, there is this thing called evolutionary intelligence. Okay,
hmm
which means that as human beings, as we evolve, we got what? More intelligent. Very simple.
okay,
And
okay,
so when you go back to caveman days, you will find that groups of cavemen used to run down animals and club them in the head with rocks. That's how they killed them. But as we got more evolved, we developed weapons.
hmm
We develop weapons. So we don't have to do like we used to do with claws. We're one of the very few animals in the world that have opposing thumbs. So guess what? We can grab things. We can rip things with our hands. What other animal has those things to do that? They don't. They don't.
hmm
And so
Oh,
if you look at when you look at it when we talk to intelligent people, we realize that modern farming, like broccoli farms and all those things are functions of the last couple of 100 years. 1,000 years ago, people didn't have modern farming where they could where they could plant, acres of a particular thing. You had wild grown fruit
hmm
and the game in your area. That's it.
the game. Like, what do you mean
Game.
by that? Oh, the
The
game.
animal, the game.
Oh, okay, the game. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah,
And
I
then
heard that.
here's a question I always ask, because even with like even Dr. Bobby Price, I hope he's well intended, but he's severely misinformed or disingenuous. You can take your pick. I don't care. All right. But one time he had this live where there's this thing where he said, "Well, look at the animals, the things people eat the most: chicken, meat, and fish. Those things are vegetarians. They don't eat other animals." And most people are like, "Oh yeah, you're right, you're right." And that doesn't even pass a major sniff test, a minor sniff test, because chickens aren't vegetarians. Chickens eat everything. Chickens will even eat the carcass of another chicken.
Yeah, yeah.
They eat worms, crickets. You
Well, do
know,
you think our bodies were set up to eat those type of foods, though?
I'm going to get to that in a
Okay,
second.
okay,
Next
okay,
thing,
all right. Okay.
fish. Some of our favorite fish eat other fish. Salmon, tuna. They eat other fish. Fish are carnivores. Okay. And so when they say, do you think our biology is set up for that? Yes, our biology actually proves that we are meant to eat meat because there's no other purpose for a person to have hydrochloric acid in their stomach. We have hydrochloric acid and pepsin in our stomach. The only animals that have that are animals that are designed to consume flesh because the purpose of hydrochloric acid and pepsin is to break down flesh. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cows don't have it. Any ruminatory animal or ruminant animal doesn't have it. The only animals that have hydrochloric acid in their stomach are carnivores, omnivores, and scavengers. And the pH level in the human stomach mimics that of a scavenger. So now when you start to talk, they love to point out, the large intestine we have, right? But what they don't point out is that we also have an extremely large small intestine. And our bodies are equipped to break down both plants and meat. However, we are more designed to break down meat because the large, a small intestine versus that large intestine, which is where most of your fruit and vegetables are broken down because of the bacteria in the large intestine. So when you look at the body of a cow, right? You ever heard the cows have multiple stomachs?
Yeah.
Well, because it's a fermentation process and is mostly lined with bacteria.
hmm
That's it.
So what would you say to people that are not able to go to the bathroom after they finish eating certain types of meats. Like it's been 3, 4 days, they haven't been able to go to the bathroom.
I
How do you?
I would urge you to look at your food combinations. What are you combining your food with? What quality of meat are you eating?
Okay.
What are the other things you're putting in your body? All the starches and all those things actually dilute your body's acids in your stomach, which help you break down food better. But here's something to also note. Meat doesn't rot in your system. Nothing rots in hydrochloric acid. From the moment that meat hits your stomach, right, your body releases hydrochloric acid and pepsin, and it liquefies it. The things that actually cause gas in the human body are what? Broccoli, beans, asparagus. Those are the things that cause gas. Why? Because of that breaking down that in your colon, and that's where the methane gas is released.
Mm.
Not the meat.
Okay, so that ain't got nothing to do with the Wingstop.
Well, first of all, you eating Wingstop. Now, what is that? What are
Yeah,
all those
yeah,
things and those sauces and all those things like that? That's probably where you're having some issues. But even at that,
yeah.
right? You're not having issues from eating straight wings.
Mm. Mm. Okay, so this is interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I did go back to Africa, right? I went to Kenya, and we went to the Maasai tribe. We went
Besides
out.
that, yes.
Yes, we went outside the city.
They
I mean,
drink raw milk and they even drink the blood of the animal.
yeah, yeah. They were eating meat. It's just a different. I guess the quality of it didn't feel the same like here in North America.
Well, and that's where we talk about now quality of meat. Okay, they're eating grass-fed, pasture-raised, pasture-grown, real organic meat. You
Mm,
know, they're not eating foods that meats that have been fed with pellets and grains and stuff like that. All
yeah,
right, and so
yeah.
meat's not the problem; it's the quality of meat you're eating. So when people say meat gives you cancer, no, meat does not. Processed meat that has nitrates, nitrites, and preservatives put in it, that gives you cancer because when the nitrates and nitrites get heated up, right,
Hmm.
it creates a compound that is carcinogenic to the human body. So your hot dogs, your deli meat, all those things like that, those things are the ones, not
Mm,
grass-fed, pasture-raised meat. Humans have eaten those things for centuries.
yeah,
And if you look at 90% of the diseases we have today, right, they didn't exist. Not especially not in the amount that we're seeing today. They didn't exist like that 100 years ago. So
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
blame new diseases on old foods because if that was the case, that would be people who've been dying for centuries from
Mm,
that.
mm,
Let's
okay.
also look at the prevalence of things like heart disease and stuff like that. You look at Africa. Africa has very little occurrence of that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let's look at the country in the world that consumes the absolute highest amount of meat per capita, 1.5 pounds per person, Hong Kong. Would it surprise you to also know that Hong Kong also has the world's longest life expectancy?
Oh wow.
Once again, right here while we're on, you can look it up and verify that. Hong Kong has the world's longest life expectancy, I believe is 84.7 years. And they also simultaneously consume the most amount of meat per capita in the world. And here's another myth we can go ahead and bust with that. Their meat of choice is pork.
Mm, okay, okay.
So not
Okay,
only is meat not killing you, pork is not bad for you if you get the right quality.
okay, so what would you say to people that says, okay, I don't want to, my mom had diabetes
Mhm.
and I want to, it's genetic. Do you think some of these things are genetic, or do you think that, hey, these people are eating the same as their parents, so that's why they get the same diseases?
Very few diseases actually run in families. What run in families are the habits that produce disease. Diabetes,
Mm,
or type 2 diabetes itself, right, is a disease born of dietary and lifestyle habits. Once again, diabetes is type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. You have to build up insulin resistance in the human body. And if it was genetic, then I would not have been successful in helping well over 100 people reverse type 2 diabetes with lifestyle and dietary choices. You can't reverse things that are hereditary, that are genetic.
Oh wow. So you've treated people with diabetes?
I wouldn't use the word treated.
Okay,
I have helped people
my bad.
change their lifestyle and dietary
Okay.
choices
Okay.
and thereby reverse the effects and or the symptoms of type 2 diabetes, which is just mainly a dis-ease or disorder in the human body. And all you have to do is bring back order to how and balance to how your body functions, and you will rid yourself of the dis-ease and or disorder. Very simple.
Mm. So when you help people rid their body of the dis-ease, are you speaking more so about like a detox, a colonics?
No, you see, once again, a lot of times people are looking for a quick fix. It's a lifestyle change. Okay. It's a lifestyle change. So it's changing how they approach their food, changing how they eat, right? And once they change how they approach their foods and how they eat, guess what? Their body then changes.
Mm.
I always tell people this. Listen, a healthy body will rid itself of unhealthy weight, and your body wants to thrive. You have to put yourself in a position to let your body heal. But when you look at all the processed foods and all the things that we're doing that are contrary to good health, we're making it difficult for our bodies to thrive. And all we have to do is get out of our body's way. And what I do is I teach people how to do that. Very simple.
Oh wow. Okay. So when you say get out the body's way, like what do you mean?
Your body wants to live, okay? Your body, so when you look at, I tell people, when we sleep every day, sleep is one of the most important parts of the human body because when we sleep, our bodies rest, regenerate, recuperate, repair. So remember we talked about earlier how it is not advantageous to eat first thing in the morning
Yes. Yeah.
because your body is now performing the last two parts of that fourth thing, the recuperation and repair part. Your body cannot fully recuperate and prepare and repair when it's being plied with food all the time because your body has to be void of food, so it's not spending energy on digestion, right?
Mm. Okay.
When it gets done absorbing all the nutrients from the food you eat, right? That is when it what? Recuperates. That's when it regenerates, sorry. And then when it gets done regenerating from using all the nutrients that you put in it, right? That's when your body is at its fullest and best strength, so then it can go ahead and do repair work. Then you eat again. And that's why fasting periods are so important because that's when you give your body the proper amount of time to rest,
Yes. Yes.
recuperate,
Mm-hmm.
regenerate, repair.
Okay.
And if you look at 24-hour periods or your body, look at it in blocks of time. It takes about 6 hours or so for your body to digest this last meal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, without you putting anything new in it, 6 hours or so is what your body's going to take. After that digestion period, then your body is going to move into the elimination period. It's going to, it's going to want to eliminate somewhere between 3 to 5, 6 hours after that. Okay.
Yeah.
And once it now eliminates, right? Because now it's also sucked all the nutrients out, it's compiled it in the trash, and it's moved it down for elimination. Once it does that, once you have eliminated, gotten all that waste out of your system, right? Then now your body uses the nutrients that it had, right? The way to regenerate all the all the magnesium, all the different things your body now is okay. We put that in, it boosts up your immune system, it boosts up everything, and now your body, because it doesn't have any food in it, and it doesn't have any work to do, then it sends out messenger cells to look for rogue cells where it repairs. That's why we talk about that period of time where your body repairs, and that's called that autophagy period of time. And that happens somewhere between 14 hours plus of being in a fasted state. So the longer you can be in a fasted state past 14 hours, the more repair your body does. So you've heard of people curing disease, curing cancer, high blood pressure, all those things from fasting. Well, that happens in that period. Now there's a period of time where after a while your body then, your body requires sustenance,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But every single human being on this planet right now, unless you're severely ill and don't have any body fat, can survive for at least over a week, right? Especially if you're just of normal size. You can survive over a week without an ounce of food.
So you say fasting, like, are you not drinking any water? No, nothing.
Water is advisable. Water is one of the very few things, but aside from air, that if you don't have for a couple of days, you will do some serious damage to yourself. So I would not recommend going 24 hours without water.
Okay, okay.
So yeah,
What's your
definitely.
thought? What's your thought on like alkaline water or just alkaline in itself?
Gimmick.
Really, you think that's gimmick?
It's a gimmick. You can alkaline your own water. All you need is a pinch of actual sea salt and a squeeze of lime or lemon. Alkaline water, just like that. So all you need is spring water or some kind of mineral water. Just a clean source of water. Put a pinch of sea salt in there, a little bit of lime or lemon, alkaline water. Boom, there you go. You don't need to go out and buy that. Most of the people that are selling alkaline water, it's all BS.
Really? Because I drink this one the most, and it just, I don't know, it tastes different from the rest. It doesn't have anything in it.
Of course it does. Of course it tastes different. Listen, man, I will tell you this about life itself, Wayne. The human mind is very, very suggestible. Be careful what you believe.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's because I believe it. I mean, I heard that before, right? Like even with like supplements. Like what are your thoughts when it comes to like moringa, like sea moss, like herbs?
Those things are actually very beneficial. I mean, I don't know if you know this, full disclosure, I own a supplement company.
What?
Yeah. I own an organic supplement company.
Yeah. Oh, so what kind of products do you sell?
Sea moss, moringa. As a matter of fact, I just released a new product the other day. Well, it's a spinoff of one of my old products, Complete Minerals. My Complete Minerals product is sea moss, bladderwrack, and burdock root. Well, I just literally just added a new product to it, and now it's sea moss, bladderwrack, burdock root with moringa, and it's called Complete Minerals Plus.
What?
All organic. Yeah, all organic. There you go.
Is this at the unlimited supplements?
Yes, all you have to do is type in Titus Unlimited, and you'll see, unlimited supplements.
Yeah. I take burdock, bladderwracks.
Yeah.
What? I didn't know. Yo,
This
we
is
gotta
all in,
talk.
this is all in one right here. One scoop in your smoothie, and boom, you get it. And unlike a lot of those supplements that you get, I give people high potency and high quality. And so this product right here has 1,500 milligrams of organic sea moss, 500 milligrams of bladderwrack, 300 of burdock root, and another I believe what is it shoot, where is it? Another 500 of moringa.
Okay, so
And
hold on.
then and then also on my website, I also carry moringa in the liquid form. I carry soursop in liquid form and black seed oil in liquid form.
Okay, so
And all organic.
are you making these products like fresh in your kitchen, or are you getting it from like a menu?
All my
Because
products.
I was in the mall the other day, and because they catching on. When they start to catch on and they start to give you their stuff. So I was in the mall the other day, and there was a guy in there. He was giving out sea moss, but it was like hard. It looked like like a jelly bean, and I was like, bro, you don't even have this refrigerated. I was like, this ain't no damn sea
So
moss.
so my supplement company, and no knock against other people, my supplement company, all my supplements are manufactured in an FDA approved facility, and it comes
Okay.
stamped. Like, so all the liquids ones I just showed you, USDA organic, and all my stuff is approved, is manufactured in an FDA approved facility. It's going to have the USDA good manufacturer seal on it. No one is boxing anything in the kitchen.
Okay. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think if
Well,
it's organic, like
here's the
that
thing.
means they're doing it.
No. What that means is that you have sadly, those people had the opportunity to cut corners. All my
Mm,
supplements are third party tested.
okay, I get what you're saying.
Right. So, and once again, no knock against people who are,
No, of course not.
they're doing what they do. If that is somebody you know and trust, hey, but when it comes down to these things, I take it very seriously. So I source high quality materials. My supplements have been around for years at this point with fantastic results and reviews. I'll put it this way: my supplements were featured by Shark Tank.
Really, you have with Damon and them?
With what is the guy? Kevin. I always forget his name.
Kevin
now,
Leary?
Yeah, there you go.
Wow. So you pitched it to them?
No, they actually approached me.
Congratulations on that. That's
So
crazy.
that was about 2 years ago, where they did a feature on me for organic for a source of organic supplements.
No, that's Moringa was the main one that I started to get into, right? Like when I started to change my diet, like I'm a firm believer when it comes to Moringa. Like a lot of people say that, like what you was kind of saying, like it's in your mind, but I do believe
No,
that
that's not in your mind. Moringa has 92 nutrients and 46 antioxidants. Like sea moss has 92 minerals and a host of other vitamins as well. So once again, this is not imaginary or anything like that. These things are actual nutrients, scientifically proven to be in these things. That's totally different than believing that alkaline water tastes different.
Okay.
Totally
Because
different.
I've heard some people say like, oh, because I've recommended Moringa to lots of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, man, it don't work for me. And then I was using it. I was listening to, do you know Dr. B Serious?
No.
He's real big in the whole holistic space. So he was saying things like, well, you have to believe in the herb so that now your body can make the connection.
That's not true. That's not true. Things are what they are. If you're taking moringa and it has 92 nutrients, right?
Yeah.
It's going to benefit your body. The problem with a lot of people is think that moringa or sea moss is going to feel like a Tylenol. As soon as you take it, bam, your body's just no. It doesn't work like that. Most people, 90% of people in America have a nutritional deficiency.
Yeah.
So since 90% of people in America have a nutritional deficiency, you have to take natural supplements, especially sadly now, a lot of these supplements that people get, if you go and look at most of your supplements, you will not see a supplement that gives you 1,500 milligrams of sea moss. They're giving you 300 and stuff. So it takes a little time for these things to build up. That's another thing in your system.
Yeah.
All right. And so you're talking about taking this thing for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then the difference is subtle. You will feel a little bit more energy. Your inflammation will be better. But it steadily happens. But it only also happens if what you're doing is if you're also not now eating the toxic foods, not doing certain things and doing other things to help your body. But if you're still eating the same trash and then trying to take a supplement thinking that's going to solve all your problems, no, especially if the supplement you're taking is inferior. No, you're not going to feel anything.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. I ain't gonna lie. That's what I was doing in the beginning. Like I would take the moringa and spirulina and then still kind of eat bad in the afternoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you think there's a big reveal at 40?
Why is there a big reveal at 40?
Yes.
Because it takes a long time for the human body to break down. I explained this last night. 25 is the magic number for humans. After the age of 25, your body, when we're young, our body has an abundance of human growth hormone, testosterone, and all these things. But as we get to 25, your body no longer produces human growth hormone. Why? Because you're done growing. Okay?
Yeah.
You're done growing. And so over the next 10 years, your body's human growth hormone gets cut in half if you're just naturally just walking around. Now, if you're eating a whole bunch of sugar and alcohol, it can even accelerate. All right. So you notice everybody looks great until 25, but there's that first fall off between 25 and 35.
Yeah.
We've seen those 10-year high school reunions. And then by the time you go another 10 years to 45, that human growth hormone gets cut in half again.
Yeah.
What does human growth hormone do? Human growth hormone repairs skin, connective tissue, helps you lose belly fat or just fat in general. And the less of it you have, guess what? The the lesser the quality of skin you produce, because you shed skin every day. Okay, the harder it is for you to burn fat. Okay, and your connective tissue, so that your joints, your cartilage, those things start to get brittle. Those things start to ache. And especially if you're eating a diet that's not clean, that's highly oxidative, loaded with sugar, because sugar will break down connective tissue. Sugar will wear your body down. And in the absence of human growth hormone and other hormones that help your body rebuild, right? That's where by about 40 we see definitely who's been doing what over the last 10 years. And if you don't see it at 40, you're damn sure going to see it at 50.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I ain't gonna lie. Like now when I hit the gym, it's more of a like I have to get my mind and say like, okay, I'm going there, I have to do it, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? But so I don't mean you had that conversation when we met each other at the event. Because I did an interview with a guy who owns a spa, and they did my blood work and everything like that, and they said my testosterone levels were low. So I started to take Shungai Ali, which kind of helps with testosterone.
You mean Tongkat Ali?
Okay, there you go, Tongkat Ali. And I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't doing a lot of like weight training. I was doing more cardio. But when I took the Tongkat Ali and I hit the gym, I started to feel amazing.
Yeah, Tongkat Ali is a herb that's been around for centuries. The translation of Tongkat Ali is Ali's stick, which means your.
Okay, the buddy day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, some of those things, yeah, it does do that. Like maca, maca's another one.
Yeah, maca root helps to regulate hormones. Same thing as Tongkat Ali.
Okay.
They help your body naturally produce testosterone. So I have a very good supplement on my page called Steel, and Steel is 600 milligrams plus of Tongkat Ali. It has Panax ginseng. It has maca root. It has ashwagandha. All those things are.
Ashwagandha is the bomb.
Right. Someone says, are there any there's no side effects to these things. These things are natural. They're not, they're not, what's the word? They're not stimulants. So literally you can take Tongkat Ali and go lay down. As a matter of fact, one of the best times to take Tongkat Ali or Steel is right before bed, because your body does this testosterone production while you sleep.
Correct.
Right.
So,
that's part of that recuperation and regeneration.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, because people say things like, they believe in God, right? So I say things like, well, hey, if you believe in God, why don't we believe in the things that are naturally here that God left for us to consume?
Right. And let's go back to how we even got on this conversation. But I was going to tell you about this thing that Dr. Bobby Price, he when he made the quote, "Oh, God gave us the herbs to heal the nation." Remember that quote, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I don't like. Yeah, this is what I don't like about sometimes with people who tend to be promoting and or biased towards the vegan lifestyle, because they'll make that quote. They'll tell you about that quote, right? Okay, but they won't tell you that just 2 paragraphs down in the same Bible, in the same verse, it says, "And let everything that walketh be your meat." It's right in the same Bible. You can look it up right now. You can put in that quote, Bible verse that said, "Let everything that walketh be your meat." The Bible has clear instructions on the foods you should and should not eat. So if you're a quote unquote vegan, right, who claims to be Christian, are you telling me you know more than God? Or better yet, what did Jesus feed the masses with? 3 fish and a loaf of bread. So you telling me you got it figured out, and the Jesus you believe in didn't?
So you eat salmon then? Because Bobby Price was saying we shouldn't eat salmon.
You shouldn't eat farm-raised salmon. You see, and that's why it is so very important to listen for comprehension and not paint with a broad brush. Just like when it said meat gives you cancer. No, processed meat will give you cancer. Don't eat salmon. No, don't eat farm-raised salmon because they feed the salmon with pellets and give it coloring. And part of those pellets, a lot of those pellets have dioxin in it, which is a carcinogen. However, wild-caught salmon and wild-caught fish, totally different and one of the most healthy things you can eat. Think about it, Eskimos, right? This is the these are cultures that have been around for hundreds of years. For many parts of the year, all they have to eat is salmon. They don't even have vegetation because they live in a desert. Yes,
Yeah.
Antarctica is a desert. Anything that plants can't grow in is a desert. So all they have is fish, and they eat that all year round, and they're very healthy.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about like shrimp, scallops?
What about them?
Are you think those are good to consume?
Yeah, those things are. Listen, you have certain people who will have their biases and preferences and say those things are bottom feeders and they're scavengers and all these things like
Yeah,
that.
that's they're the cockroaches of the sea.
Yeah, so are chickens. Chickens are one of the worst scavengers there are. Chickens eat anything. Chickens will eat the carcass of a human being. Okay? However, it is totally different when those animals eat the meat, eat whatever it is, and then they process it, and then you eat their flesh. Now, once again, you can have it. It's okay to have your preferences. It's okay to have your feelings.
Yeah.
It is not okay to make up your own facts. If you have a preference or a feeling towards not eating a food that is quote unquote a scavenger, sure, I can understand why you wouldn't want to eat shrimp. I can understand why you wouldn't want to eat chicken. Okay. And I can understand you can say, you know what? I would not advise eating that because it eats such and such. However, you cannot negate the fact that chicken is loaded with protein, loaded with nutrients, and so are scallops and shrimp and lobster and all those things of that nature. And you will not get sick by eating it. Why? Because for many cultures in the world, that is all they have to eat. And that's what they've eaten for centuries on centuries. And they've lived very healthily. That cannot be denied.
No, you're right. Because I ain't gonna lie, I love shrimp and scallops.
Like take for instance, Wayne. Like I do not eat dairy. I do not like the fact that I don't believe in consuming the milk of another species. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That being
I
said,
agree.
I also understand that 70% of the world is lactose intolerant.
Mm-hmm.
However, for the people who are not lactose intolerant, raw milk is highly nutritious. So I can be fully honest with people. Yes, it's very nutritious, loaded with nutrients. Okay. I can be honest with people and say, you know what, I don't drink it. I wouldn't advise anyone to drink it. However, full disclosure, it is loaded with nutrients. So if you're not lactose intolerant and you have access to good quality raw milk, go for it if you
But
want to.
ain't the people that's lactose intolerant because they're not supposed to be drinking the milk at all? It's just kind of like being allergic. Like if you're allergic to a certain type of food, that's your body telling you that you're not supposed to consume that.
Well, the truth is, lactose tolerancy, right, is in many ways is a genetic abnormality because what happens is when we're young, when all mammals are young, we have an enzyme in our gut that helps us metabolize breast milk, the milk from our
Mm-hmm.
mothers. But you ever heard when people say, "Don't give the baby solid food"? You ever heard that?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Because when you eat solid food as a mammal, right, you strip that enzyme out of your digestive lining. Okay. And that's why you will even notice with cows, when when a baby calf is old enough to eat grass, its mother will no longer let it suck the tit.
Mm,
Yes.
okay, I didn't know about that.
It's a fact. We are the only species of any animal that will consume milk into adulthood. No other species will do it, not even allowing their own calf to drink their milk.
Mm, mm.
Right.
Okay. This is
So you
different.
have certain people that have this genetic abnormality that they actually keep that thing in their gut lining, and so
Mhm.
it helps them metabolize milk, break down lactose.
So you're saying there's something in our body that helps us break down lactose?
Yeah, that's what it is, the thing in our gut lining. But when you eat solid food, it gets stripped out. Some people it doesn't, and those are the people who are able to continue to eat and digest lactose. That being said, will milk in many cases give you a little bit of inflammation in the gut and stuff like that? Sure, it does. But for a lot of people, does the benefit outweigh the detriment? Yes. However,
Mm.
if you ask me, would you recommend? I would say no, because I believe you can still get those nutrients from other
Yes.
sources without having to deal with those things. So
Yes.
it would be like,
No, I agree because I can't drink no milk. I've been stopped eating Fruit Loops and Cheerios
but and
since I
then
was like
let's
18,
get something
19.
straight too. American milk is trash. So it doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Oh, so it's American milk.
Well, yeah, but first of all, I wouldn't consume any milk, but definitely American milk is trash. American milk is banned in the world.
Yeah.
Why? Because we feed our cows who produce milk here RBGH, which is recombinant bovine growth hormone. So that's why we're also seeing this expansion in this explosion in breast cancers and even things like fibroids and stuff like that, because it is highly inflammatory.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So American milk, anything made with American milk is trash.
So we think about like almond milk then.
Almond milk, those things are okay once again, but you have to also realize that what we're doing there, we're trying to mimic things that it's not really necessary. So if you're using a little bit of almond milk here and there for something, that's fine,
Mhm.
right? But you
Mhm.
know, it's not a health food. Put it that way.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I would
And you
not be
get
consuming loads and loads of it. If you're putting a little bit of almond milk together because it makes you feel good to make your smoothies with that, cool, do that. Cool.
yeah.
Not, you use organic almond butter to make it or organic almonds, you're fine. But it's not a health food to be building a staple diet around. Right.
Okay. I have Queen Amiga. She said, "How do you suggest people remove mucus from their bodies if they've been consuming, consuming bad food for years?"
Well, mucus is naturally occurring in the human body to protect you. So one of the best ways to help
What?
remove mucus from the body,
Mucus
right?
protect us?
Yes. First of all, the human body naturally has mucus. You hear about your nasal capacity, your nasal line is called a mucous membrane. Okay, we naturally have
Mm.
mucus in the human body. What is
Oh, man.
problematic? Yeah, what is problematic is an abundance of mucus. And what happens is when we put things in our body that agitate our body, right? Our bodies produce more mucus to wrap those things around. So you ever notice when you start going somewhere that's dusty and you sneeze,
Yeah.
your body produces more mucus to wrap that dust out around. Why? Because it's foreign. We don't like it. So when you're eating things that are constantly inflammatory or agitating to the human body, your body will keep producing more mucus, and that's where that mucus buildup comes from. And that's why they tell you when you have a cold, right?
Mhm.
Don't eat dairy. Why? Because when your body senses dairy, what does it do? It produces mucus. And so when
Mm.
you stop eating dairy for a long time and you consume dairy, you will feel you'll feel the mucus start to build up in the back of your throat, your mouth and throat, your throat.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. The
So
mucus
yeah,
membrane.
mucus is not a bad thing, but it's the abundance. So now how do you rid your body of mucus? The first step of ridding your body of mucus, stop consuming foods that will make your body produce mucus. So sugar is one of the main things that makes your body produce mucus. Alcohol, another thing. Breads and starches, another thing. Things that are inflammatory, those are the things that make your body produce mucus. Uh, Meat does not make your body produce mucus. That's a lie. Okay, so it's all those other things that make your body produce mucus. Now, you want to rid your body of mucus, you can do a detox. If you look at on my website, I sell a really good detox stack. But even if you didn't want to do that, you can consuming things like cayenne pepper. You ever notice when you eat cayenne pepper, how your nose starts to run?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
Pineapples flushes mucus. Garlic flushes mucus. Onions flushes mucus. Ginger flushes mucus. Clove flushes mucus. So those are the things that help to flush mucus out of the body.
So what about like a colonics?
Colonics are quick fixes. You shoot some water up your bunghole. That's not really going to do much as far as cleansing your system. A good colon cleanse, a good cleansing of one system takes at least a good week, because especially if you've been eating bad for years, you have old hardened foods all in your guts. So when people do my detox stack, they'll tell you that it takes about 6 days, and that's when you see the elimination start to pick up. All right. And that's also proof positive there's no laxatives in it. But what it does is slowly breaks up and softens the old undigested food, and then you start to see the flush out. So I've had a guy who did the detox stack, and and when we changed his diet, he started with a distension of his stomach, was stuck out. He dropped about 8 inches off his waistline and went from 243 to 217 in 30 days.
What, in 30 days?
Got a huge gut though.
Well, the stomach, I'm not gonna lie, that's like the hardest thing to, or would you say it's the hardest part to get down?
Well, the thing is that most people, when you look at a distension in their stomach, that's not fat. That's just waste. And so someone has asked the question, will this hurt your stomach? No, it's a very gentle cleanse. And what I recommend to people is, if you're going to buy the detox stack, when you visit my website, which is TitusUnlimited.com, read the reviews before you buy anything. The detox stack has been around for over 4 years. Well over 1,000 plus people have used it. And the reviews and the efficacy of it is right there. It tells you. Okay. So no, there's no urgent rush to the bathroom, because there's no laxatives, there's no hurting of one's stomach, but it just slowly works with your body and then just helps your body eliminate the waste. And you see a definitive difference within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Whether man or woman.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to holler at you about that, because my gut, like I said, it was crazy, but now it's down. I hit the abs. It's getting there, but I want the abs. Like, you still got the abs, so I'm trying to get to that level. But man, brother, this was so good. You dropped. Everybody's been going crazy in the chat here. You dropped so much gems, and you gave me so much enlightenment today. Let everybody know where they can find you at.
Very easy to find me, Titus Unlimited. Like I say, you can go right now in Google and put in Titus Unlimited, and you'll see it. But you'll go to TitusUnlimited.com. That's where my website is. You can find the supplements there. You can book a consultation with me there.
Okay.
And like I said, Wayne, one of the things that differentiates me from other people is that I talk about balance. I don't use scare tactics. I give you the full information. And my goal is to help people get better, not to win people over into my lifestyle or doctrine or anything like that. And I have one particular thing I always say: don't take my word for it. Look it up.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that though.
Yeah. Don't take my word for it. Look it up.
Go do the research yourself.
Yeah.
Well, brother, this was so awesome. You know what I mean? We definitely gonna have to do this again, because
absolutely
you dropped some real knowledge, man. But I appreciate everybody for tapping in. You already know it's Mr. Williams with the I Talk Great podcast, and I'm out of here. All right, Titus.
Later.
All right, brother.